and a very warm welcome to Fireside Fables. If you're seeking stories that weave tranquility into your night, guiding you gently towards a restful slumber, you found the right place. Here, we embark on journeys not just to distant lands and times, but into the heart of peace and calm itself. So, make yourself comfortable, let the day's worries melt away, and join me by the fireside. Together, we'll explore tales designed to soothe your mind, ease your soul, and escort you into the most peaceful sleep. Tonight, let the flickering flames and the soft cadence of our stories be your sanctuary. In a realm far beyond the reaches of mortal understanding, where the very air is alive with whispers and secrets, there exists a world unlike any other. Here, the winds are not mere currents of air, but sentient beings, each with its own unique voice and purpose. They are the keepers of stories, the carriers of messages, and the guardians of the natural world. It was in this enchanted realm that a young wind spirit named Zephyr came into being. Born from the gentle breeze of a spring morning, Zephyr emerged as a curious and wide-eyed spirit, eager to explore the wonders of its new home. As it took its first tentative breaths, the elder wind spirits gathered around, their whispers filled with warmth and welcome. Zephyr's form was ethereal and translucent, a shimmering mist that danced and swirled with each gentle gust. Its eyes, the color of a clear blue sky, sparkled with innocence and wonder as it gazed upon the world for the first time. The elder spirits, their forms more solid and defined by the passage of time, smiled upon the newborn spirit with knowing eyes. In this world, the wind community was a close-knit family, bound together by their shared purpose and love for the natural world. They were the caretakers of the realm, responsible for maintaining the delicate balance between the elements and ensuring that the whispers of the world were heard and understood. As Zephyr took its first tentative steps, the elder spirits guided it with gentle whispers, teaching it the ways of the wind. They showed Zephyr how to ride the currents of air, how to dance among the treetops, and how to listen to the secrets carried on the breeze. Zephyr listened intently, its heart filled with a deep desire to learn and grow. Under the nurturing guidance of the elder spirits, Zephyr began to discover the true nature of its being. It learned that each wind spirit was born with a unique purpose, a special role to play in the grand tapestry of the realm. Some were destined to be the bearers of news, carrying messages from one corner of the world to another. Others were the artists of the sky, painting the clouds with their breath and creating the stunning sunsets that set the heavens ablaze. As Zephyr explored its new home, it marveled at the beauty and diversity of the world around it. The realm was a tapestry of landscapes, each one more breathtaking than the last. From the gentle rolling hills of the whispering meadows to the towering peaks of the murmuring mountains, every inch of the world was alive with magic and wonder. And so Zephyr's journey began, a path of discovery and growth that would lead it to the far corners of the realm and beyond. With each passing day, the young wind spirit grew stronger and more confident, its whispers becoming a part of the ever-changing symphony of the world. Little did Zephyr know, but its journey would be one of profound transformation, a quest that would shape not only its own destiny, but the fate of the entire realm. As the sun set on Zephyr's first day, the elder spirits gathered around once more, their whispers filled with pride and love. They knew that the young spirit had a long road ahead, but they also knew that Zephyr possessed the courage and the heart to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, with a final gentle gust, they sent Zephyr off into the world, eager to see where its journey would lead. As the dawn broke over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the whispering realm, Zephyr awoke with a sense of excitement and anticipation. Today was the day that it would learn to communicate through whispers, to join the grand conversation that flowed through the world like an endless river. Zephyr made its way to the center of the wind community, where the elder spirits were waiting. They greeted the young spirit with warm smiles and gentle whispers, their voices filled with the wisdom of ages past. Zephyr bowed its head in respect, eager to learn from these venerable beings. The eldest of the spirits, a wise and ancient wind named Sirocco, stepped forward. Its whispers were like the rustling of autumn leaves, crackling with knowledge and experience. "Young Zephyr," Sirocco began, "today you will learn the art of whispering. It is the language of our kind, the means by which we communicate with the world around us." Zephyr nodded, its eyes wide with wonder. Sirocco continued, "To whisper is to speak without words, to convey meaning through the subtle currents of the air. It is a skill that requires patience, focus, and a deep connection to the world around you." And so, Zephyr's lessons began. The elder spirits guided the young wind through the basics of whispering, teaching it how to modulate its breath, how to infuse its whispers with emotion and intent. Zephyr listened intently, practicing each technique with diligence and determination. As the days passed, Zephyr's skills grew stronger. It learned to whisper with the gentleness of a butterfly's wing and with the strength of a howling gale. It discovered that its whispers could soothe a troubled heart or stir the leaves of a distant tree. And with each new ability, Zephyr's connection to the world around it deepened. The elder spirits watched with pride as Zephyr blossomed under their guidance. They knew that the young spirit had a special destiny, a unique role to play in the tapestry of the world. And so, they encouraged Zephyr to explore, to listen, and to observe the beauty and complexity of the realm. Zephyr took their words to heart and began to venture beyond the boundaries of the wind community. It whispered with the babbling brooks and the singing birds, learning their stories and their secrets. It danced with the sunbeams and the raindrops, marveling at the delicate balance of the natural world. And as it explored, Zephyr began to discover its own unique abilities. It found that it could paint pictures in the clouds, creating stunning works of art that drifted across the sky. It learned to sing with the wind, its voice blending with the harmonies of the world in a symphony of beauty and wonder. But perhaps most importantly, Zephyr learned the value of listening. It discovered that every creature, every plant, every stone had a story to tell, a whisper to share. And by opening its heart to these whispers, Zephyr began to understand the true nature of the world and its place within it. As the sun set on another day, Zephyr returned to the wind community, its heart filled with gratitude and wonder. The elder spirits greeted it with warm whispers, their voices filled with pride and love. They knew that Zephyr's journey was just beginning, but they also knew that the young spirit had the wisdom and the courage to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, Zephyr settled in for the night, its whispers joining the gentle chorus of the sleeping world. It dreamed of the adventures to come, the stories it would hear, and the wonders it would discover. And as it drifted off to sleep, it knew that it was exactly where it was meant to be, a part of the grand tapestry of the whispering realm. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Zephyr stirred from its slumber, its mind still filled with the dreams of the night before. The young wind spirit stretched its ethereal form, feeling the gentle currents of the air around it, and set off on its next adventure. Zephyr had heard whispers of a magical place not far from the wind community, a vast meadow where the grass and flowers spoke in hushed tones, sharing secrets and stories with those who knew how to listen. Intrigued by these tales, Zephyr decided to seek out this enchanted place and learn what wisdom it had to offer. As it journeyed through the realm, Zephyr marveled at the beauty of the world around it. The sun cast a warm glow across the land, and the air was filled with the gentle whispers of the waking world. Birds sang their morning songs, and the trees rustled their leaves in a soft chorus of greeting. Before long, Zephyr reached the edge of the whispering meadow. It was a sight to behold, a sea of green and gold that stretched out as far as the eye could see. The grass swayed in the gentle breeze, and the flowers nodded their heads as if in welcome. As Zephyr stepped into the meadow, it was immediately struck by the peacefulness of the place. The air was filled with a gentle hum, a soft vibration that seemed to emanate from the very earth itself. And as it listened more closely, Zephyr began to hear the whispers of the meadow. The grass spoke of the importance of being grounded, of staying connected to the earth, and drawing strength from its ancient wisdom. The flowers shared their secrets of resilience, of how to weather the storms of life and emerge stronger and more beautiful than before. Zephyr listened intently, absorbing the lessons of the meadow like a sponge. It marveled at the depth of knowledge contained within each blade of grass, each delicate petal. And as it whispered back, sharing its own stories and experiences, it felt a deep sense of connection to this magical place. As the day wore on, Zephyr found itself lost in the beauty of the moment. It danced with the butterflies and sang with the bees, reveling in the simple joys of the natural world. And as the sun began to set, casting a golden glow across the meadow, Zephyr knew that it had learned a valuable lesson. The meadow had taught Zephyr the power of presence, of being fully immersed in the beauty of the moment. It had shown the young wind spirit that sometimes the greatest wisdom comes not from grand adventures or epic journeys, but from the quiet moments of connection and wonder. As the last light of day faded from the sky, Zephyr bid farewell to the whispering meadow, its heart filled with gratitude and peace. It knew that it would carry the lessons of this magical place with it always, a reminder to stay grounded, to find beauty in simplicity, and to listen to the whispers of the world. And so, Zephyr set off into the gathering dusk, its whispers joining the gentle chorus of the night. It knew that there were many more adventures to come, many more stories to hear, and lessons to learn. But for now, it was content to simply be, to revel in the beauty of the world and the magic of the whispering realm. As it drifted off to sleep that night, Zephyr dreamed of the whispering meadow, of the gentle wisdom of the grass, and the resilient beauty of the flowers. And it knew that no matter where its journey took it, it would always carry a piece of that enchanted place in its heart, a reminder of the power of presence and the beauty of simple things. As the sun rose over the whispering realm, Zephyr awoke with a sense of excitement and purpose. The lessons of the meadow were still fresh in its mind, but the young wind spirit knew that there was still so much more to learn, so many more stories to hear. With a gentle whisper of farewell to the wind community, Zephyr set off towards the east, where it had heard tales of a great forest, a place where the trees themselves held the wisdom of the ages. The journey was long, but Zephyr's heart was filled with anticipation, and it flew on the currents of the wind with effortless grace. As it drew closer to the forest, Zephyr began to hear the soft murmurs of the trees, a low, steady hum that seemed to fill the air with a sense of ancient knowledge. The sound grew louder as Zephyr approached, until it was enveloped in a symphony of whispers, each tree sharing its own unique story. Zephyr landed gently on the soft forest floor, its ethereal form shimmering in the dappled sunlight that filtered through the canopy above. The trees towered overhead, their trunks wide and gnarled with age, their leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. As Zephyr listened, it began to hear the stories of the forest, tales of growth and change, of the endless cycle of life and death. The trees spoke of the patience required to withstand the passing of the seasons, of the strength that comes from being deeply rooted in the earth. One ancient oak, its bark rough and weathered with age, shared the story of how it had started as a tiny acorn, no bigger than a raindrop. Over the centuries, it had grown tall and strong, weathering storms and droughts, providing shelter and sustenance for countless creatures. Another tree, a slender birch with leaves that shimmered like silver in the sunlight, spoke of the interconnectedness of all living things, of how each tree was part of a vast network that stretched across the entire forest. It told Zephyr of how the trees communicated with each other through their roots, sharing nutrients and information in a complex web of life. Zephyr was entranced by the wisdom of the forest, by the depth of knowledge contained within each tree. It spent hours wandering among the trunks, listening to the murmurs of the leaves and the creaking of the branches. As the day wore on, Zephyr began to understand the true nature of patience and resilience. It saw how the trees had endured through countless challenges, how they had adapted and thrived in the face of adversity. And it realized that this was a lesson it could carry with it always, a reminder to stay grounded and to draw strength from its roots. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Zephyr knew it was time to move on. It whispered a gentle thank you to the trees, promising to carry their stories with it always. And so, Zephyr set off into the gathering dusk, its heart filled with the wisdom of the forest. It knew that the journey ahead would be long and challenging, but it also knew that it had the strength and resilience to face whatever lay ahead. As it flew through the night sky, Zephyr's whispers joined with the murmurs of the forest, a gentle reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. And it knew that no matter where its journey took it, it would always be part of something greater, a tiny but essential piece in the vast tapestry of life. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Zephyr bid farewell to the murmuring forest, its heart filled with the wisdom of the trees. The young wind spirit knew that its journey was far from over, and with a sense of excitement and purpose, it set off towards the distant horizon. Zephyr flew for days, riding the currents of the wind over rolling hills and through deep valleys, until at last it reached the edge of a vast desert. The landscape was unlike anything Zephyr had ever seen before, a sea of golden sand that stretched out as far as the eye could see, shimmering in the heat of the sun. As Zephyr entered the desert, it was struck by the strange beauty of the place. The dunes rose and fell like waves, their edges sculpted by the wind into intricate patterns of light and shadow. And as it listened, Zephyr began to hear a haunting melody, a song that seemed to emanate from the very sand itself. The music was unlike anything Zephyr had ever heard before, a symphony of whispers and sighs that rose and fell with the shifting of the dunes. It was a song of solitude and resilience, of the beauty that could be found in even the harshest of environments. As Zephyr explored the desert, it encountered a group of nomads, wanderers who had made their home among the dunes. They welcomed the young wind spirit into their camp, sharing their stories and their wisdom. The nomads spoke of the importance of adaptability, of learning to thrive in even the most challenging of circumstances. They told Zephyr of how they had learned to find water in the driest of places, to navigate by the stars and the sun, to find beauty and meaning in the stark simplicity of the desert. Zephyr was fascinated by their way of life, by the resilience and ingenuity that allowed them to survive in such a harsh environment. It spent hours with the nomads, learning their songs and their stories, marveling at the way they had learned to live in harmony with the desert. As the days passed, Zephyr began to understand the true nature of adaptability. It saw how the nomads had learned to find joy and purpose in even the most challenging of circumstances, how they had learned to embrace the beauty of solitude and the power of self-reliance. And as it listened to the singing of the desert, Zephyr began to find its own voice, to understand the unique melody that lived within its own heart. It realized that just as the nomads had learned to adapt to the desert, it too could learn to adapt to whatever challenges life might bring, to find beauty and meaning in even the most unexpected of places. As the sun began to set over the dunes, Zephyr knew it was time to move on. It thanked the nomads for their wisdom and their hospitality, promising to carry their stories with it always. And so, Zephyr set off into the desert night, its whispers joining with the singing of the sand. It knew that the journey ahead would be long and challenging, but it also knew that it had the adaptability and the resilience to face whatever lay ahead. As it flew beneath the stars, Zephyr's heart was filled with a sense of joy and purpose. It had learned so much from the desert and its people, and it knew that this was just the beginning of its journey. With a song in its heart and the wind at its back, Zephyr set off towards the distant horizon, ready to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead. As Zephyr left the singing desert behind, it felt a tug in its heart, a whisper on the wind that called it towards the distant sea. The young wind spirit had heard tales of the vast ocean, of the power and mystery that lay within its depths, and it knew that this was the next step on its journey. Zephyr flew for days, riding the currents of the wind over rolling hills and through lush valleys, until at last it reached the edge of the sea. The ocean stretched out before it like a vast, shimmering expanse, its surface glittering in the sunlight like a million diamonds. As Zephyr drew closer, it began to hear the whispers of the waves, a gentle murmur that seemed to beckon it closer. The sound was different from anything it had heard before, a soothing rhythm that ebbed and flowed with the tides. Zephyr landed on the sandy shore, its ethereal form shimmering in the salty air. As it listened to the whispers of the waves, it began to understand the language of the sea, the stories that were carried on the currents and the tides. The waves spoke of the endless cycle of life, of the way that all things were connected in a vast, intricate web. They told of the power of letting go, of surrendering to the flow of life and trusting in the journey. As Zephyr explored the shoreline, it encountered a group of sea turtles, ancient creatures that had roamed the oceans since the dawn of time. The turtles welcomed Zephyr into their midst, sharing their wisdom and their stories. They spoke of the importance of persistence, of the courage it took to face the challenges of the sea. They told Zephyr of their long migrations, of the way they navigated by the stars and the currents, trusting in the journey even when the way was unclear. Zephyr was inspired by their stories, by the way they had learned to find peace and purpose in the vast, ever-changing world of the sea. It spent hours with the turtles, learning their ways and their wisdom, marveling at the depth of their connection to the ocean. As the days passed, Zephyr began to understand the true nature of letting go. It saw how the turtles had learned to surrender to the flow of life, to trust in the journey even when the way was uncertain. And it realized that this was a lesson it could carry with it always, a reminder to find peace in the midst of change and to trust in the wisdom of the universe. As the sun began to set over the ocean, Zephyr knew it was time to move on. It thanked the turtles for their guidance and their friendship, promising to carry their stories with it always. And so, Zephyr set off into the gathering dusk, its whispers joining with the murmur of the waves. It knew that the journey ahead would be long and challenging, but it also knew that it had the courage and the faith to face whatever lay ahead. As it flew over the vast expanse of the sea, Zephyr's heart was filled with a sense of peace and purpose. It had learned so much from the ocean and its creatures, and it knew that this was just another step on its journey of growth and discovery. With the whispers of the waves in its heart and the wind at its back, Zephyr set off towards the distant horizon, ready to embrace the ebb and flow of life and to trust in the wisdom of the journey. As Zephyr bid farewell to the whispering waves and the wise sea turtles, it felt a new calling in its heart, a whisper that drew it towards the towering mountains that loomed on the horizon. The young wind spirit had heard tales of the majestic peaks, of the thin air, and the distant whispers that could be heard only by those who dared to climb to the highest heights. With a sense of determination and purpose, Zephyr set off towards the mountains, riding the currents of the wind over the lush valleys and the rolling hills. As it drew closer, it could feel the air growing thinner, the whispers growing fainter and more distant. At last, Zephyr reached the base of the tallest mountain, a towering peak that seemed to touch the very sky. It landed on a rocky ledge, its ethereal form shimmering in the thin, crisp air. As Zephyr began its ascent, it could feel the whispers of the mountain growing stronger, a faint murmur that seemed to come from the very stone itself. The climb was long and challenging, but Zephyr was determined to reach the summit, to hear the wisdom that lay waiting at the top of the world. As it climbed higher and higher, Zephyr encountered a group of mountain goats, sure-footed creatures that seemed to dance across the steep, rocky cliffs with effortless grace. The goats welcomed Zephyr into their midst, sharing their stories and their wisdom. They spoke of the importance of perseverance, of the courage it took to face the challenges of the mountain. They told Zephyr of the long, hard winters they endured, of the way they found shelter in the rocky crevices and the hidden caves, trusting in their own strength and resilience to see them through. Zephyr was inspired by their stories, by the way they had learned to thrive in even the harshest of environments. It spent hours with the goats, learning their ways and their wisdom, marveling at the depth of their connection to the mountain. As Zephyr continued its climb, it could feel the air growing thinner still, the whispers of the mountain growing louder and more insistent. At last, it reached the summit, a tiny, windswept pinnacle that seemed to float above the clouds. As it stood at the top of the world, Zephyr could hear the distant whispers of the mountain, a faint murmur that seemed to come from the very air itself. The whispers spoke of the importance of perspective, of the way that even the greatest challenges could be overcome by those who dared to see the world from a different angle. Zephyr closed its eyes, letting the whispers of the mountain wash over it like a gentle breeze. It thought of all the lessons it had learned on its journey, of the wisdom of the meadow and the forest, the desert and the sea. And it realized that each of these lessons was like a piece of a greater puzzle, a tiny fragment of the vast tapestry of life. As the sun began to set over the mountain, casting long shadows across the rocky peaks, Zephyr knew that its journey was far from over. There were still so many places to explore, so many stories to hear, and lessons to learn. But for now, it was content to stand at the top of the world, to feel the wind in its whispers and the wisdom of the mountain in its heart. It knew that no matter where its journey took it, it would always carry the lessons of the whispering summit with it, a reminder of the importance of perseverance, perspective, and the power of the journey itself. And so, as the last light of day faded from the sky, Zephyr spread its whispers to the wind, ready to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead. With a heart full of wonder and a spirit full of joy, it set off into the vast, whispering world, ready to discover all the magic and mystery that life had to offer. As Zephyr descended from the whispering summit, its heart was filled with a sense of peace and purpose. The journey had been long and challenging, but it had taught the young wind spirit so much about the world and about itself. With a newfound sense of wisdom and understanding, Zephyr set off towards the place where its journey had begun, the realm of the wind spirits. It flew over the vast expanse of the world, marveling at the beauty and diversity of the landscapes it had explored. As it drew closer to home, Zephyr could feel the whispers of the wind growing stronger, a gentle murmur that seemed to welcome it back like an old friend. It could hear the voices of the other wind spirits, their whispers joining together in a symphony of joy and celebration. At last, Zephyr landed in the heart of the wind realm, its ethereal form shimmering in the soft golden light. The other wind spirits gathered around, their whispers filled with curiosity and excitement. Zephyr began to share its stories, telling of the whispering meadow and the murmuring forest, the singing desert and the whispering waves. It spoke of the lessons it had learned, of the wisdom and resilience of the creatures it had met along the way. As the other wind spirits listened, they began to add their own stories, their own whispers of wonder and discovery. They spoke of the places they had explored, of the secrets they had uncovered, and the mysteries they had solved. And as the stories flowed and the whispers intertwined, Zephyr began to understand the true nature of the wind realm. It saw how each wind spirit was like a thread in a vast, intricate tapestry, a tiny piece of a greater whole that stretched across the entire world. It realized that just as it had learned from the wisdom of the creatures it had met on its journey, so too could it share its own wisdom with the other wind spirits. It could help guide the younger generations, passing on the lessons of patience and resilience, adaptability and letting go. As the sun began to set over the wind realm, casting a warm, golden glow over the gathered spirits, Zephyr knew that its journey had come full circle. It had started as a curious, wide-eyed spirit, eager to explore the wonders of the world. And now, it had returned as a wise and compassionate guide, ready to share its knowledge and experience with others. And so, as the whispers of the wind spirits rose and fell in a gentle, harmonious chorus, Zephyr took its place among them, its own whispers joining the symphony of the wind. It knew that the journey of life was never truly over, that there were always new horizons to explore and new lessons to learn. But for now, it was content to bask in the warmth and love of its fellow wind spirits, to celebrate the beauty and wonder of the world they all shared. And as the night fell and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Zephyr knew that no matter where the wind might take it, it would always have a home and a family in the realm of the wind spirits. With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit full of joy, Zephyr closed its eyes and let the whispers of the wind carry it off to sleep, ready to dream of all the adventures yet to come. And as it drifted off into peaceful slumber, it knew that it had truly found its place in the world, a tiny but essential piece in the vast, whispering harmony of life. Thank you for allowing Fireside Fables to be a part of your journey tonight. We hope our story has gently guided you to the gates of dreamland, wrapping you in the comfort of tales told by the fireside's warm glow. For those of you who might still be seeking the embrace of sleep, stay with us a little longer. A calm, meditative piece will follow shortly, designed to ease you into a restful slumber under the watchful care of the night's peaceful embrace. Remember, the path to dreamland is always here, lit by the soft light of our fireside tales. May you find tranquility, peace, and the sweetest of dreams. Until next time, good night, and let the gentle rhythm of the night cradle you to sleep. Close your eyes and settle into a comfortable position. Whether you're lying down or seated, allow your body to relax completely. Take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with air, and then gently exhale, releasing all the tension from your body. This meditation will guide you into a deep, restful sleep. As you follow along, let my words be the gentle waves that guide you into the peaceful embrace of slumber. Begin by focusing on your breath. Feel the natural rhythm of your inhale and exhale. With every breath, imagine a wave of relaxation sweeping over your body. Starting from the top of your head, let this wave of calm flow down to your toes, relaxing each part of your body one by one. Now, bring your attention to your mind. Visualize your thoughts like leaves floating on a gentle stream, drifting further away with each breath. There's nothing for you to do right now, nowhere you need to be, except right here in this moment of peace. As your body sinks deeper into relaxation, imagine a soft, warm light enveloping you. This light brings with it a deep sense of calm, filling every corner of your being. With each breath, this light grows brighter, your body feeling lighter. It's now time to let go completely. Your serene place is here to cradle you into deep sleep. With every breath, feel yourself drifting further into this haven of peace. You are safe, you are loved, and you are embraced by the gentle arms of sleep. As my voice fades away, let the calmness and peace you feel guide you into a deep, restful sleep. Your body knows what it needs, and it's time to surrender to the soothing rhythm of your breath, to the quiet of your mind, and to the warmth of your peaceful place. Release all hold on consciousness and allow yourself to sink into the depths of sleep. Here, in this space, healing and rejuvenation happen effortlessly. Let go and let sleep envelop you in its comforting embrace.